This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good night, Scot Westwater. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's a good pleasure to connect with you, Scott. I know Americans say water, and in the Caribbean we say water, right?
I like your pronunciation better.
I appreciate that. Tell me, what part of the world are you in right now?
I'm in the suburbs of Chicago.
Sweet. Well, do tell me which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history.
So about a year and a half ago, I started my own company. And so I've been working in customer experience, helping companies understand their audiences better and ultimately coming up with solutions that better fit their needs. So, really it's been quite a journey to get to this point. But yeah, that's kind of why we're talking.
Well, that's cool. Now tell us a bit more about how you do the work you do, please.
Yeah, so a lot of what we do would actually be going out and talking to companies and then talking to their audiences. So really getting a good sense of what their challenges are, what their struggles and their needs are, and really coming up with solutions, messaging, websites, apps, whatever, that would actually answer those questions. So we take an approach where instead of it being a marketer pushing a message out to the audience, it's actually coming from the audience, and we're actually giving them information that would help them, become successful or at least complete a task that they're trying to complete.
Where did the idea spawn from?
So a lot of it comes from my user experience background. And, in user experience, you spend a lot of time with your core audience and understand the challenges that they need and really how they use a website or an app. So really it's taking a lot of the user experience and design thinking and applying it a little bit more holistically to marketing and advertising in general.
Wow, it sounds like a great idea. Now, there's something that I'm really intrigued by. Did your wife start before you went into this, or did she only start after you decided to make the move?
So we've both been in advertising and marketing for over 20 years. And so we both have big agency experience in Chicago. And so she was on the account management side. I was on the visual design side. And then over time, we kind of pivoted our careers a little bit. So she does content strategy, and I do more of the digital strategy now. So it's something where, we've worked really well apart, and we're working really, really well together. And it's actually been great because I actually get to spend a lot of time with her that normally I wouldn't during the day.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Definitely a match made in heaven, isn't it? Love it.
It's a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that. My wife and I work together, and we found that separation really works well amongst everything we're doing together. It's just like you could get to, it's like the cubicle in the house, right? So you can get to go to your section, I go to my section, but where you guys are doing two different type of things, I think that works even better, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And we do have two separate working spaces. So I have my office and she has hers. So if I get on her nerves, she can say, go back up to your office. I'm done with you right now. So.
Amazing audience. That's a big tip, right? If you're working at home with your spouse, definitely. A big tip is get separate offices, which looks like separate rooms, right? Like go to your room or go to
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're talking to a little kid saying, "Go to your room," but
it sounded that way, didn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, it works because she's got her own things that she needs to do, and her job requires a certain level of concentration. Obviously, mine requires a different level. And so it works well to have two separate workspaces.
Agreed. Where's the best place for someone that's listening to connect with you, Scott?
LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. So Scot Westwater on LinkedIn, or you could also find me on Twitter under at Scot Westwater.
Love it. Now tell me one other thing, Scott, you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
Yes. So I would say the most consistent thing I've done is really force myself to learn something new almost every day, certainly every week. And so whether it's reading or, going out into the world and exploring and just really getting to know either the neighborhood, the local area, and really trying to find something special in kind of the everyday or what other people might consider the mundane, but really just trying to learn something new almost every day.
Love it. Tell me about what's next, catching the next big wave in customer experience, please.
Yeah, so my wife and I were actually just out in Utah, and we co-presented. It was actually the first time we've co-presented a talk for getting people ready for voice. So utilizing Amazon Alexa or Google Home in order to better reach your customers. And so the talk was really around how that would actually fit into an existing customer experience plan or marketing plan, and really trying to get people to understand what the benefits of it are going to be and getting them prepared for the next, year to 2 years.
And there we go. So you're the guy, you're getting the work done. Your wife is with you and you guys are putting this together. You do have fun. How does it make you feel seeing all of these things culminate?
It's the best time of my life, I'm not going to lie. So just really with a lot of the change that is going on in my life over the past year and a half, it feels like now this is the culmination of all that hard work and all of the struggle that I've had. So it's just a really rewarding, amazing feeling. And I really hope that every one of your listeners at some point in their life actually gets the opportunity to kind of experience what we've been experiencing.
Amazing audience. You're hearing it live from Scot Westwater. Again, you can definitely connect with him on LinkedIn. Scott, let's switch gears for a moment. Let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
What is your earliest childhood memory?
So very early on, it's little vignettes, but I remember my childhood room when I was probably either 2 or 3. We had this blue shag carpet that looked like Cookie Monster. And so I remember that very vividly. And I also remember the stuffed animal in that same room that my father got me. It was a big panda bear that was probably like 5 times the size I was at that point.
All right. How do you see that memory connecting to who you are today?
That's actually a really great question. So part of my transformation over the past couple of years was actually due to my father passing away. And in a way, I see kind of that gift of him giving me the stuffed animal is kind of this rebirth that he's given me when he passed on.
That's amazing. Why Cookie Monster?
It was the 70s, and I just remember vividly it was this blue shag rug that, by all contemporary standards is really ugly, but I'm able to remember being able to stick my fingers through it and just kind of laying on the ground and stroking through, much like it was about the same length and certainly color as Cookie Monster. So I don't know. It really reminded me of that. And I was actually thinking about this a little bit earlier, and that popped into my head. And I was like, wow, that was probably when I was 2 or 3.
Wow. I love it. I love the imagery of Cookie Monster, which is he's bigger than life. It's just there's a confidence that Cookie Monster rolls with, all right? So he's bigger than life, right. And he is so into being who he is. The googly eyes, the clumsiness, but it's just Cookie Monster, and yep. I just love that. Yeah, I think that's very important in life. It seems as though you're the Cookie Monster in the relationship, though. Leave me, Scott. I need to concentrate.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, and I'm sure my wife would agree with that as well. That's
wonderful. Scott, if we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
Oh, it would probably be hair metal, because it was kind of that 1988 sort of time frame. So probably Guns N' Roses. And if I had to guess, probably Sweet Child of Mine would have been the song that I would have been listening to the most when I was 12.
Sweet. All right, Scott. Well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
Yes,
Scott, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
I have.
Are you married? Well, yes,
Yeah.
we spoke about
Yes.
that, right? Right,
Yep.
we spoke about that. Right. Do you have children?
We do.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
Yeah.
What about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
It's probably going to be a little bit more than 8 hours a day.
Scott, if you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, Scot Westwater, what would you say that is?
I connect the dots and lift others up so they can achieve greatness.
Love it. I love it. Love it. Scott, this has been a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I like I said, kind of at the top, I really do hope for everyone listening that you do have the opportunity to kind of find your why and really find what sets you on fire and be able to do that the rest of your life. It's an amazing feeling.
Scott West, Scott, my apologies, tongue twister. Scot Westwater, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Angel, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This segment has been brought to you by Amazel Enterprise.